Hi guys, my name is Trinity, and if you are here, you must be here to talk about books because that's why I am here to talk about books. Today, we have a book haul. So today I got kicked out of the house, told to go do something for myself, and I went book shopping. So a lot of these books are going to be from the buy-sell trade, and then I have some that I got from Thrift books, and then others that I've picked up along the way. This is my November haul, so the next one you guys will see will probably be a Christmas book haul, and I probably won't post that until January. So the first book that I picked up is Stormbird Wars of the Roses, Con Iggulden. I picked this up because one of my friends on Discord loves Con's works and just goes on and on and on about him. And we both like historical fiction quite a bit. And so I wanted to pick this up. There's another series of his that I wanted to pick up, but this was the one they had at the buy-sell trade. He told me it was pretty dang good, so I picked it up. It says it's a series about two families who plunged England into a devastating decades-long civil war. In 1437, the Lancaster King Henry the Sixth, VI 6, ascends the throne of England after years of semi-peaceful regency. He is famed more for his gentle and pious nature than his father's famous battlefield exploits. Already his dependence on his closest men has stirred whispers of weakness in the court. A secret truce negotiated with France to trade British territories for the royal bride, Margaret of Anjou, sparks revolts across English territories. The rival royal line, the House of York, seeks the chaos brought on by Henry's weakness, and with it the opportunity to oust the ineffectual king. As storm clouds gather over England, King Henry and his supporters find themselves besieged abroad and at home. Who or what can save the kingdom before it's too late? Sounds like it's going to be up my alley, and I'm very, very excited to get into it. Next, we have a thriller called We Begin at the End by Chris Whittaker. Now, I've heard very, very good things about this kind of across the board, so that's why I picked it up. And I do know that this houses a found family trope, so that's what excited me about this, a thriller that houses a found family trope. I've heard that it's heartbreaking. I've heard that you can't stop reading it. It's a compulsory read. Like, you just have to keep figuring out what's going to happen next. And so I am very, very excited for that. As you guys know, I don't like to know much about my thrillers before going into it, but for me, that's enough. Next, we have The Death of Jane Lawrence by Caitlyn Starling. Now, I have heard this book is creepy. It is full of horror, psychological horror. It's one of those things that just speaks to me. I feel like it's going to be one of those gothic tales that I just fall in love with. And in this book, there is a woman who decides her path forward is going to be a marriage of convenience, and in this marriage, the husband only asks one thing, that she never show up to his dilapidated mansion ever. She agrees, but when she gets stranded one night, that's where she ends up, and things start going wrong from there. So I'm very, very excited to get into this one as well. Again, I probably say that about all of the books that I pick up because I bought them, so I am excited. Next is a classic that people have been hounding me to read, and that would be Tagana by Gavriel, Kaye. I'm probably going to be picking this up for a reading vlog in the near future. I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to do said vlog, but since people have been hounding me to read it, I'm gonna go ahead and pick it up and see if I like Gavriel, Kaye. So the next two that I picked up was a series that I've never heard anything about. Again, this is what happens to me at the buy-sell trade. I find books that nobody's talking about but sound really good to me. And that would be these two right here. Blood of an Exile is the first one. Sentenced to Die, Impossible to Kill by Brian Nasland. This is Tor, so I'm pretty curious as to why I've never heard about it. So Bershad was supposed to die. Bershad stands apart from the world, the most legendary dragon slayer in history, both revered and reviled. Once he was Lord Silas Bershad. But after a disastrous failure on the battlefield, he was stripped of his titles and sentenced to one violent, perilous hunt after another. Now he lives only to stalk dragons, slaughter them, collect their precious oil, and head back to the treacherous wilds once more. For years, death was his only chance to escape, but that's about to change. The king who sentenced Bershad to his fate just given him an unprecedented chance at redemption. Kill a foreign emperor and walk free forever. The journey will take him across dragon-infested mountains, through a seedy criminal underworld, and into a forbidden city guarded by deadly technology. But the links of fate bind us all. So I'm pretty excited for this. I do get excited when I hear dragons, but I do always wonder, are the dragons going to be a big part of the story? It sounds like it's kind of unavoidable in this series, so pretty pumped for that. Next, we have a book that I tried reading before, and my reading tastes have changed a little bit, and so I wanted to give it another go because when I first picked it up, so many people were singing its praises, and I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. But again, my reading tastes have changed, and so I want to give this book another try, and it's 4 and 20 Blackbirds by Sherry Priest. I've heard that this is so good. So this is the start of a trilogy, and I'll read you the back. Although she was orphaned at birth, Eden Moore is never alone. 3 dead women watch from the shadows, bound to protect her from harm. But outside her aunt's house, a gunman waits, convinced that Eden is destined to follow her wicked great-grandfather, an African magician with the power to curse the living and raise the dead. Now Eden must decipher the ghostly trio's secret before a new enemy more dangerous than the fanatical assassin destroys what is left of her family. She will sift through lies in a Georgian antebellum mansion and climb through the haunted ruins of an abandoned hospital, desperately seeking the truth that will save her beloved aunt from the curse that threatens her life. Southern Gothic. So yeah, I definitely want to go ahead and give this book another try. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've read it. I don't remember much about the story. I remember liking elements of the story, but then I don't remember anything else. But I want to give this one another go. Now, you can't step 2 feet inside the sci-fi genre without hearing the name John Scalzi. And I have never read anything by him, but I found this. This is book 1 of a series, The Collapsing Empire. It's a trilogy, in fact. And I just have wanted to pick up John Scalzi for a while and haven't done it. Does the biggest threat lie within? In the far future, humanity has left Earth to create a glorious empire. Now this interstellar network of worlds faces disaster. But can 3 individuals save their people? The empire's outposts are utterly dependent on each other for resources, a safeguard against war, and a way in which rulers can exert control. This relies on extra-dimensional pathways between the stars connecting worlds. But this flow is changing course, which could plunge every colony into fatal isolation. A scientist will risk his life to inform the empire's ruler. A scion of the merchant house stumbles upon conspirators seeking power, and the new empress of the interdependency must battle lies, rebellion, and treason. Yet as they work to save a civilization on the brink of collapse, others have very different plans. Political machinations. That always sells me on a book. It always sells me on a book. So I'm pretty pumped to start picking up some of John Scalzi's works, and I hope I like it. Next, 3 are going to be my Thrift Books purchases. They are a little rough. They're a little rough. I've never purchased from Thrift Books before, but I wanted to go ahead and try it out just because it's one of those other options besides the buy sell trade where you can get books pretty cheaply. Also, what should be included in this that has not arrived on my doorstep yet is Leviathan Awakes. I did actually purchase a copy of that book, but it's not here yet. And it's one of those that I'm almost certain I'm not gonna like it, but I'm having FOMO on it. So I have been told that for my particular style, my particular taste, I probably should watch the show and then read the books instead of reading the books and then watching the show. Everybody seems to think that that will work out better for me, but we'll see, we'll see. And the next one I got is The Thief by Megan Whalen Turner. I might start this one pretty soon, I'm not sure. It's pretty short, but I've heard very, very good things about this series, and everybody seems to like it. No one seems to think that it's a favorite, but I haven't heard anything bad about these books, so I'm pretty excited to get into them. And they're almost novella length, and so they could be really good. I Can Steal Anything. After Jen's bragging lands him in the king's prison, the chances of escape look slim. Then the king's scholar, the magus, needs the thief's skills for a seemingly impossible task, to steal a hidden treasure from another land. To the magus, Jen is just a tool, but Jen is a trickster and a survivor with a plan of his own. Now, I have heard that future books in this series are a bit meandering and that there's a lot of travel in these books, so there's a chance I might not like it, but for $3, I decided I wanted to go ahead and give it a go. As you guys know, I've been reading a lot of thrillers lately, and that means that I'm reading the thrillers I have on my shelf, so now I gotta get more. And I picked up The Guest List by Lucy Foley. Now, this is the book that came in the roughest condition from Thrift Books. Still not in bad condition, but it's probably not a copy of the book that I will keep. If I do like it, I'll probably try to replace it, get the hardback. Might even order it from Book of the Month because I do have that service, but I haven't wanted to pay a ton because I'm so hit and miss with thrillers. But I've heard that this is the best that Lucy Foley has to offer, and so I'm very, very excited about it. This is one of those isolation thrillers as well, so I'm pumped about that aspect of it. Again, I don't like knowing much about my thrillers before I go into them because it kind of kills it for me a little bit. Next is a book that I never really knew if I was going to try and read it or not. And then it came up on Thrift Books for $4. And I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead. So, Divergent. I loved that when it came out. It was so good. There's a lot of us who were not happy about the ending of it. And that stopped a lot of people from picking up anything else written by Veronica Roth. However, I have been wanting to read Carve the Mark. I just have never got around to doing it. And then last year, I read the Forward series that Blake Crouch put out, and Veronica Roth wrote a story in it, and it was really good. I think I gave that one 5 stars. And so I was like, you know what? I need to pick up Veronica Roth again. Give her another chance, did a sturdy and Divergent, but you never know. I could really like this book, and I could really like this. I believe it's a duology. So I went ahead and picked up Carve the Mark. All right, next would be my Owlcrate book, and guys, it's stunning. It is stunning. Jade Fire Gold, Her Destiny, His Revenge by June 10. I don't know how to say that. Coltan, maybe? June Coltan. Something was awakening, a dark power I had no control over, a power that would save or destroy me. The world thinks I'm dead, and I want to keep it that way until I'm ready to take back what is mine. So look at these jade edges. Here is the naked hardcover. And here is the cover art on the back of the cover. Really, really pretty. Now, if I remember right, Elliot Brooks got a ARC copy of this book and read it and didn't quite enjoy it. I don't remember why, but if I can find her review of it, I will post it, give a link in the description. This book is gorgeous, so I'm pretty excited to at least have it on my shelves. And like I said, this is the Owlcrate book, but yeah, it's so pretty. So pretty. All right, if you guys have been keeping up with the horror that I have been reading, I got the next two books in the Nightmareland Chronicles, Lullaby and Sleepwalking. This one is super short. This one is a little bit longer. And so I'm excited to continue with these. I, again, have to thank my friend Andrew for pushing me to read them because the first one was so good. I did have some issues reading it because I was trying to read it alongside Empire of the Vampire, and that was my most anticipated book of the year besides The Pariah, so I just wanted to read Empire of the Vampire. But once I set Empire of the Vampire down, finished it, I was able to blow through Nightfall, the first one in this series, and absolutely loved it. Okay, the next four. My Discord people have been waiting for me to show off because my friend Terry, the one I talked about at the very beginning of this video, he posted a picture of these books, and I went crazy over the picture because they were so gorgeous. And if you guys don't know, this series that I'm about to talk about has gone through cover change after cover change after cover change. However, the UK has the most gorgeous covers of this series, and they are all the same. And so I picked it up and I was like, heck yeah, I finally have a matching set of these books, and I'm stoked. So here is the first one. That's Graceling. These are by Kristen Cashore. And this is the Graceling Realm series. We have Fire. See how shiny they are? Bitter Blue. Goodness, they're beautiful. Here was the one that sold me. Winter Keep. Look how gorgeous. Gorgeous. So I am planning to do a reread of this series because I read Graceling, Fire, Bitter Blue years ago, and Winter Keep just came out. And so I want to reread the series so that I can get to Winter Keep. These are all kind of companion novels, even though it is a series. They follow different characters. So I'm still like super excited to read all of them. Next, we have a long anticipated sequel to a book that I fell in love with, and that would be The Second Rebel by Lyndon A. Lewis. If you guys saw, I absolutely loved The First Sister, which is the first book in this series. So I'm pumped to have the second book in the series. And it is a sci-fi space opera that has a really hardcore focus on found family. And then my book of the month book that I picked up is The Keeper of the Night by Kylie Lee Baker. And I picked this up because one of my friends is doing Asian Fantasy Month next year. And this sounded like it would fit in perfectly. Half British Reaper, half Japanese Shinigami. Ren Scarborough has been collecting souls in the London streets for centuries, expected to obey the harsh hierarchy of the Reapers who despise her due to her mysterious mother and even more mysterious Shigami powers. Ren conceals her emotions and avoids her tormentors as best she can. And she leaves London, flees to Japan to serve the goddess of death. but finds that she also must prove herself worthy in Japan, as she did have to in London. So I'm pretty excited about this, and that is my book haul for today. Like, subscribe, do all the fun things, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!